What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we do a 10 scene story styled pose showcase on Hot Toys 1/6 scale Ronin here. After having done one for the Hawkeye look already, I knew I had to do one for the Ronin look too. This figure has such a great look to him, so many accessories and options, I knew I still had more poses in me and more story to tell with him. So for this story, we'll be following Clint through a moment of time when he was Ronin, alone, devastated and bloodthirsty to deliver justice. For the poses, I wanted to play around with the use of swords and sword fighting, so I looked for images of all types of sword fighting stances, and I tried to incorporate that today in some of the poses which lend to my story, but also give you display options for your Ronin on the shelf. For this video, I have each scene go around on the turntable for the length of the song I've chosen to bring tone to the story. This time each scene goes for around 2 minutes. I'll also change up the lighting throughout the video. I wanted to try something different for this story as I'm imagining him fighting his foes in a neon city full of different coloured lights everywhere. Let me know what you think of this change in the comments down below. Lastly, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see today, do us a favour and hit that like button, hit the notification bell, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. I'm working on a new giveaway that I'll be doing once we reach 2k subscribers as another thank you for all the support and helping me grow my channel. You're all legends. But now, with that, you know what we do. Scene number 1. Ronin, preparing himself for war. Weapons check. Since the blip, he's got a job to do. This is what he knows. This is all he knows. This is who he is now. It's time to get back out there. No time for rest. You'll rest when you're dead. Get ready. The undeserving are still out there, and it's time they meet you. Okay, now, for this setup, I wanted to make use of all the awesome accessories he comes with, so I thought, let's have him get ready before he goes to war as a way to kick off the story. I'm also trying to incorporate some samurai elements into his poses as I feel he looks like a ninja, so I want to play off that throughout this video. I feel like this pose here is a good representation of a warrior getting organized before going out to battle, kneeling and examining his weaponry with intention. The pose itself is easy and given the material of his suit, not a bother at all to achieve. I think this looks badass, and with everything laid out like that, it also starts the story off nicely. Scene number 2. Ronin's out on the prowl in a neon city. He's focused. He's searching. Target lock. He's approaching the next person, about to meet the blade. He stalks silent, drawing his sword, quiet. Okay, this pose right here, I took inspiration from looking at samurai stances and I landed on this one. What I really like about this stance is it looks more like he's about to draw the sword from his hip, like a samurai would, except for me and the purpose of this story, he's holding it this way as he's in stalk mode, silently creeping through an area, preparing to strike. I love how he looks from most angles with this pose, and I feel it looks very natural in this position, like he would in real life. I have to say it's such a pleasure to pose him up. He really moves well, and achieving this look was pretty easy all in all. Moving into the next scene is the first time I'll switch up the lighting to signify a new area and the direction of the story. So let me know what you think of this pose in the comments down below. For me, it's actually one I'd definitely leave him in on the shelf long term. Scene number 3. Ronin has come across a Deadpool variant. He pulls his sword and makes it be known he means to tussle. Deadpool draws a sword, but then his pistol, because why not? Ronin's just brought a sword to a gunfight. Okay, now, for this scene, we have Ronin facing off with Deadpool, both standing their ground, looking each other up and down before a battle begins. For the poses, we have Ronin drawing his sword in another samurai-inspired fighting stance, with my little twist to it. I wanted to play around with sword fighting stances again, and after looking into it, there are actually so many different ways you can hold a sword, and I've been finding it really fun trying to recreate some of these cool looks with Ronin. This one here reminds me of a stance I've seen in a film somewhere, but I just can't remember. Either way, I think it looks cool. For Deadpool, we have him in a pose that I think he would be in before squaring off with someone. I think it slots in really nicely here as a stance for him to be in this scene of them coming together face to face before squaring off. What do you guys think? Scene number 4. The fight is on. Ronin blocks Deadpool's left-hand sword attack whilst proceeding to chop off his right hand with the pistol in it. Laser focused, his reactions are calculated. He's smooth, swift, and doesn't hesitate. The goal is maximum damage inflicted from the get-go. No mercy. Okay, for this scene, I wanted to have them both in the middle of combat, playing off each other, and to my surprise, I was able to do it. Without using stands, they are both balancing together really well. The reason for that is because I have them working together by having Ronin take on most of the weight by having him grounded to be more stable. Then I have his right arm up, blocking the blow and taking most of Deadpool's weight, helping hold him up and give him a point to balance on. For Deadpool, I have him in forward momentum attacking with his left arm, but also reacting to having his hand just chopped off. I do that by implying that that's what's just happened with the body movement and the direction that he's looking in for the scene. This follows on from my last scene and has Ronin disabling the pistol now to turn it back into a sword fight. I really love making figures play off each other to create moments in time like this, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Ronin ain't playing around, he's out for blood, the fight is on. Scene number 5. The sword goes swish. Ronin is making quick work of this variant of Deadpool. He's chopped off both hands, disarming him, and then proceeds to remove him from his head. No playing around. Ronin is efficient. Remember, he doesn't miss. Okay, for this setup, I wanted to show the violence and damage someone wielding a sword would be doing, chopping off limbs and such. I also wanted to play around with the rage he would have been feeling during his time as Ronin. I think fighting with swords instead of guns would be way more personal. Having someone close to you trying to stick you with a blade would be pretty terrifying, I think. For the poses, for Ronin, this one's all about trying to sell him swinging the sword through Deadpool's neck. I'm trying to give him the look of momentum again by how we are twisting the torso, the direction we have him looking in, leg placement, and finally the right arm and hand. The moment is kind of an in-between moment, mid-swing. For Deadpool, it's a really easy pose. How I have his stance is me trying to convey him leaning forward, arms out, almost like a zombie who's just about to have his head removed. I have his head selling the momentum too by having it look like it's starting to fall off. Again, I wanted to try and do this scene without using stands, and with these poses I still think I'm showing momentum whilst also keeping them in pretty safe, both feet on the ground balancing positions. Did I sell this scene? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Scene number 6. One Deadpool down, one more Deadpool to go. There's a new variant standing before Ronin. The same, but different. 2 swords this time, no gun. This Deadpool wants to get close enough for the blade. Ronin stands confident and unfazed, arm up, signaling he's ready. It's time to duel. You're next. Okay, for this scene, we move to a new color scheme for a new fight. Again, I do this to try and add dimensions to the story, showcasing they're in a neon lit up area with constant changing lights. For Ronin's pose, this is another one inspired by looking at sword fighting stances. I think of him calling out someone and wanting to duel with them with this pose. Having his hand behind his back sells it to me as he's someone who is a master, full of confidence. Just by placing the ninja stars in that hand as well, I think adds an extra element, like he's fiddling with them before he's about to launch them at Deadpool. Now, for Deadpool's pose, it's just a simple sword holding pose, like he's already drawn one sword and now just drawn out the second. The way we have him standing to the side like that, it's like he's stepping in and around to the right to match up with Ronin, who is also in more of a tactical side-on stance. I think that works much better than having them stand straight on and face to face. Let me know what you think. Scene number 7. Both Ronin and Deadpool launch at each other, blades out, preparing to collide. It's about to get messy. Neither man willing to back down, both in full attack mode. If you look closely, you'll see Ronin so quick, he's already landed the 2 ninja stars he had in his right hand into Deadpool's torso. Now for this, I wanted to create a scene that looked like it was out of a comic book. 2 foes launching at each other, about to clash. The moment right before, and I'm really happy with how I have their bodies angled here, especially when we see it from front on. I think it looks pleasing to the eye and definitely tells a story. I love these types of poses that convey movement and action. I think for me, dynamic poses are more fun for me to play with, so much so that I'm leaning towards creating a dynamic display for my collection when I finally get my Moji cases set up and ready to go. I kind of have a vision for how I want it to look, and setups like this are definitely part of how I want to showcase my collection. But only time will tell, so we'll have to wait and see. But for now, I'm loving this. Scene number 8. In the midst of battle, Ronin's rage is stronger than Deadpool's abilities as he now begins to overpower him. Wielding the blade from his right boot, he has an opening to strike, and best believe he'll strike. He needs to stab and slice. This is what keeps him going. He must deliver justice. Now, for this scene, I wanted to show them in some type of scuffle, up close and personal as most sword fights end up being. When I first started out, I was trying not to use stands, but as the posing went along, I decided I wanted to convey Deadpool losing balance and falling back to really try to show the force that Ronin is bringing down here with his blade along with his forward momentum. The cool thing about Deadpool is, in his back he has a magnet, so I didn't need the waist grabber because the magnet attached right to the flight pole, which I think is pretty cool. If you're wondering why I've left the other dead Deadpool on the turntable, it's because I'm trying to leave debris around to show that they're in the same area and that it's all going down at the same time. Let me know if you like that aspect, or do you think it crowds the picture too much having an extra piece laying on the ground in front of the camera like that? I'm curious to know. I personally think it works. Scene number 9. Deadpool's in trouble. Ronin has just sliced through his torso. Deadpool clutches his waist in pain. Ronin, knowing the blow he's just delivered is a game changer, doesn't feel the need to look back. He has one more thing to do to complete tonight's mission, and then he can retire for the evening. For the last 2 scenes here, we switch up the lighting yet again. This time I'm using the Philips Hue light bowl I just recently purchased. I wanted to go darker for these last 2 scenes, and I wanted to better depict a darker alley lit up by neon lights. I really like playing around with how the lights reflect off the figures, and if it does help accentuate the mood of the scene. I think it does. I'd love to know what you think. I think for this pose setup, it looks great from some angles and not so great from all angles. The good thing about your display is though, you can choose the perfect angle. Use that to your advantage when posing up your display. Okay? So, one more scene to go after this, then we'll conclude Ronin's night of vengeance. Scene number 10, the final scene, but this time with 2 parts to it. After we go around once, I tried a thing. Let me know what you think when you see it. I had to give it a go. We have Ronin about to deal the death blow and get his release for the evening. He will not stop until he gets stopped. That's how I envisioned his mindset for his time as Ronin when I think about how they depicted him in Endgame when Natasha meets up with him. Having lost hope when he lost his family, he became this, now like a killing machine, searching and destroying. You can see on this one I have both Ronin's knife and sword poking into Deadpool's body, implying he's been sticking him with everything he can find. Then I have him holding both Deadpool's swords about to chop off his head to complete the kill. We have Deadpool with his hands up reaching, but unfortunately, it's going to be too late for him today. This is Ronin's story, and thus Wade's time is over. You have been deemed unworthy, Wade. My family got Thanos, you get me, and therefore I shall remove your head. And boom, we remove the head. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed my venture into a Ronin story today. I also have a Hawkeye 10-scene story style posing showcase already on the channel. Go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It's in the same theme as this. You know, it's a testament to how awesome this figure is and how much value for money you get with him. You get 2 different looks and tones with one figure. With both my videos, I wanted to try and show how many different looks you can get with the same figure when you change up the accessories and the purpose of the poses. I hope that's come through and given you all some cool ideas for how to display this figure with either look that you choose to go with. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. We got reviews, posing showcases, stories, live streams, and soon to air vlog series of me training to get into shape to cosplay as Spider-Man. My show, Posed Up, where I interview a fellow collector whilst we pose up some figures together for fun, and Take Your Position Live that I co-host with my guys, Lael and Brendan. Now, until next time, live life, have fun, and keep posing.